Hello people, how y'all doing? If you just so happen to be a flat earther, one of them Dunning-Kruger, retarded, unintelligent, uneducated, think you know it all flat earthers, why don't you just move on there, because this video here is definitely not for you. I don't need any common sense, logical input from any of you guys demanding proof and all this nonsensical crap that you always do, physical measurements and all that shit. All this stuff we know is in our heads because we already figured it out for you. This here video is for the Spheroidiot Baltardio people who don't think for themselves and don't ask questions for themselves. They just rely on us scientists to give them the answers because we're smart and they're listeners. They were taught really good to regurgitate everything that they ever heard. And so they know it all that's in the books. They're bookmarked. Anyway, you don't think I'm a scientist here? I'll prove it right here. I'm a scientist. Here is my degree. You see? In RAM, right there. Yeah, I am Professor Sensible, but my name is in RAM. And I graduated from the University of Hard Knocks. Ass bachelor degree of pseudoscience. In recognition of the successful completion of the requisites and on nomination of University of Hard Knocks in RAM on the 20th day of January in the year of 1965, by virtue of their authority, hereby confer upon Dick INCI, whatever the fuck that means, the ass bachelor degree of pseudoscience, with all of the top-notch honors, rights, and privileges thereto pertaining to. Official duplicate. My signature in RAM. And the official stamp of the University of Hard Knocks and the Notary Public stamp. My certificate is number 666. And if you don't believe that, well, here we go some more. This is me, right here. A picture taken of me from my colleague the day that I found worlds bigger than our world inside of simple single cells. Now all I gotta do is figure out how to shrink us down so we can get down in that single cell and enjoy life without the threats of the government. Oh, no, I mean, we'll bring the government down there too so they can keep controlling us. Because we don't know what to do. We can't make up our own minds. We need them to control us so that we're safe. Okay, onward. You guys are a bunch of devolved monkeys, you Spheroidiots, Baltardio people. I am glad you are out there. You have absolutely no logic and reason. And if you don't believe in evolution, as Darwin taught you to believe, here's physical proof right here. Evolution. Here's where they estimated. Then you started to walk more upright, and then you invented weapons and shit, and then you're walking at a fast pace, and you started thinking too much, so we had to bring you back down to this level, and we estimate that you're down to here right now. Especially if you're one of them spinning ball tardio spheroid fools, because you have no questions to ask. You just accept whatever you're told, regardless of what it is. You're acceptors. You're not thinkers. You don't know how to think. You know what to think. The only thing you think is what you were taught to think. You ain't like Dave Weiss and that other guy, Dubai, up here that are floating above with all their information and education and knowledge by gathering the data and the information and compiling it together and pondering over their evidences and experiments and all the data with an open, unbiased, non-prejudiced mind and letting the data come to the conclusion of the reality of where we're at. No, you're not up here. You're down here, you devolved monkeys. See, long time ago, about 300 years ago, there was an instrument that was invented about shortly over 300 years ago. It's called the sextant. See, here we have this guy here. The sextant was invented by Thomas Hadley in 1731, but the Chinese were using it over 1,000 years ago. Don't ask me how that all works out, but yeah, the Chinese were using this invention over 1,000 years ago that was just barely invented over 300 years ago. And we have this person here that's at the equator. You can tell that by her position on Earth here, as the oceans are all vertical here, and she's standing horizontal while the oceans are vertical. Is what she's doing is this instrument here, mind you, this will pick up stars in the daytime. Don't go get one, investigate for yourself. You just listen to me, because that's what I'm telling you. You know, I am a scientist. I already proved that to you. There's my picture, and there's my certificate. And you guys are just a bunch of devolved apes. I already showed you that too, because there you are. Anyway, so we have this person at the equator that's getting the sling of the slong at broad daylight of Polaris up there. And because we're going to compute all of these three readings of the Polaris, because one of them reads too much, one of them don't read enough, and one of them reads right, and we got to figure this all out. And so we have this guy here, or this person here, at the equator, getting the sling of the slong of things. Well, this guy here, he's at the 45th, you know, because you can tell if you go right over, oh, sorry about that. If you go right over here, you can look right there. And we all know Polaris is at the 45th, on the 45th. When you're at the 45th, and this here little doohicker sextant instrument is pointing at 45 right there, so we know he's at the 45th. Yes, I know it's daylight, but you gotta believe me, man. This thing picks up stars at daylight. They got a fucking button in there that you push, and it turns the daytime sun off, and you can find the nighttime sky up there in the middle of the day. Don't question it, just believe it. So he's getting the angle of the dangle from the 45th, and then we got this guy here. See, there's my certificate of completion and my asset bachelor's degree. And then so we got this guy here at the North Pole, and he's looking up. You know how we know he's at the North Pole? Because there's the North Pole, and there's Satan Claus's sign pointing to his mansion over there somewhere. So anyway, this guy here, he's at the North Pole. He's pointing that sextant clear to the vertical direction so he can get the wang of the dang of the thing. So we got these three individuals here. They're this gal here, she's doing it at the equator, getting the sling of the slong. This guy here, he's at the 45th, getting the angle of the dangle. This guy here, you can tell he's at the North Pole, because there's the North Pole and there's Satan Claus sign pointing over that way, and he's getting the wang of the dang. Now with these three inputs of information on the degree that the sextant is recording Polaris from the horizon, we are going to go ahead and divide that by 6 to get the average, and that'll bring us into where Polaris is, see? So you take, don't ask me, okay, I'm going to tell you why we're dividing it by 6 even though there's only 3 inputs. And to get the average, you should normally divide it by 3 because there's 3 inputs. But these inputs are a little bit special. You see this guy here, he's got the wang of the dang, so there's 2 inputs there. This guy here, he's got the angle of the dangle. There's 2 more inputs there. And this guy at the equator here got the sling of the slong. So there's 2 more, 2, 4, 6. So we're going to add all of these together and divide them by 6. and we'll end up with the correct equation of what the equator is. Don't be asking no questions, you devolved monkeys, because you're over here. You are not up here with me. You're up here with Weiss and Dubai. So you don't even ask no questions. Don't even think about it. You ain't smart enough. You just repeat what you're told and be good little monkeys. Okay, now here we go with this part of it. You see, according to this is where we have measurements where we've actually grabbed a yardstick and we flipped it end over end from the North Pole to the 10th degree latitude, and it equals out to be 5,520 miles. And so to prove this works, see, it's not an actual plane mile, it's a curved mile. So I went ahead and put that curve in there for y'all, and you see that's 10 degree latitude north, and here's the North Pole, and here's Polaris. And with all of them calculations and stuff that we just did, I just kind of went over here and it came to 433 light years. What's 433 light years? Well, it's 2.5454448 times to 10 to the 15th. How do you figure that out? Well, you grab your old calculator here and you go 2.5454448. Then you add as many zeros on your calculator as it'll accept. And then you... Oh, wait. You don't add the zeros yet. Let me back that up. Let me get rid of them zeros first. Now, you multiply it by 10 to that many. No, I didn't screw up. I just got a little ahead of myself. Now you multiply that by 1 with as many zeros as you can get on your calculator. Don't question what I'm doing. Just accept it. I'm smarter than you. I went and I got myself learned at the schools of universities. You've seen my certificate now. Damn it, don't question me. And that equals to be this number here that's got so many zeros behind it. You guys can't figure it out, so don't even bother trying. I'll explain to you what them numbers are in the next segment of this educational video. And you ball earthers, you better be the only ones here. I don't need them flat earthers in here asking logical questions. Let's go ahead and move that to the exact value rather than the number to check it. I don't have a calculator on hand big enough to get that number in and divide it by 1397, whatever the fuck that number is, whatever's after quadrillion and bazillion or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I went to science class and all that shit, but it was pseudoscience, but I'm still smarter than you, so don't question me. The last thing you need to be doing is question authority, and I'm smarter than you. My pea brain's twice the size of your BB brain. Okay, so here we have, back to this one here. We know that by dividing all of their inputs from the sextant, though it sees what it does with the sextant is you focus in on the horizon and you point it up to whatever heavenly body up there that you want to know what degree it is from the horizon. But at the same time, when you're this many miles away, 5,520 miles away, and it's pointing at the 20th, or it's pointing at whatever it is there at 10 degrees, is where Polaris is pointing. You got to be able to add this number here on, this number here on, and that number. You ain't smart enough to do it, so just take my word for it, okay? So we know, after doing all the mathematics and all this formulas and stuff, that Polaris is 2,545,444,800 miles above the North Pole. So we have the handy math calculator here, solutions for technicians. And so we are going to go ahead and add 20. We're going to get rid of all the zeros because this thing don't go that high, but it does go high enough. We can just add the zeros on later. It all works out. Trust me. I already did it. So we're going to enter the 2,545,444,800,000,000 right here. And it said foot before, but miles, it's the same thing. You don't have to do that. You can check it if you want, but I already did it for you. Miles is the same thing as feet. What happens is the feet scale down the mile, the foot per mile, you know, that kind of shit that you guys don't understand anyway. So anyway, that gives side B here 5,520 miles. We're on the trigonometry of a triangle. It should actually be 14 quadrillion, 435 trillion. 934 billion 817 million 80,000 miles is what that should be right there. But don't you worry about that none, that it's only been flip-flopped with the yardstick, and we know that it's only 5,520 miles. And we know that that's the correct input right there too. So yeah, we can just cross this one off here. We don't need this value. Let's just cross that off. And side C right there, we already figured that out in the wing of the ding and the ding of the yin of the yang and all that other bullshit. So we don't need that. And we already know that that's the 10th degree latitude right there. So that's that angle right there. That's necessary. But we don't care about this because none of these numbers work out anyway. You just got to believe us. We got chalkboards 10 deep figuring out how to get this number right here. You see, I'm going to tell you a little story. Figures don't lie, but liars can figure. And there's another part of this story. That figures can be manipulated. See? Manipulated. Simple figures don't lie. But when you start getting into formulas and equations and A plus B equals C times 6, and you get formulas that are the length of 10 chalkboards, we got all them. Well, we had them all. They were in the Twin Towers. So was NASA's telemetry data, but that's not here nor there. We didn't go back to the moon since 72, and the Twin Towers didn't come down till 01, but we just didn't have that information. And we also don't have the information to how we got up with Polaris being so high up in the air, because it's a painful process to get it back, damn it. We don't want to go through it again. We already did it once. Believe us. So, anyway, yeah, we can get rid of all this other shit because it don't matter. It's a bunch of deceiving lies on the trigonometry of triangles. So let's get into this other triangle here. So we know at the 45th, by flipping the yardstick from the North Pole to the 45th latitude, that we have 3,015 miles from the North Pole to the 45th latitude on this curve right here. We ain't on a plane, we're on a curve. And don't ask, just believe it. And so, if from the North Pole here to Polaris, we already know that that's 2,545,444,800 miles, and being a right triangle and side A is that, you know that this is the 90 degree, that is going to make side B that. But apparently, by the actual measurement, the 45th north latitude is only 3,015 miles from the North Pole. Don't you worry about this number right here. We don't have to worry about that. That's a bunch of hogwash. We know that that's 3,015 miles. And this one here, it don't really matter either. Yeah, you just listen to us. We know what we're talking about. You don't. Go ahead and ask all your retarded Spheroidiot, Baltardio, foolish, no proof required questions and comments in the comments section. And I'll be sure to get back to them real soon. Just like you do. With nonsense. No proof. Regurgitated rhetoric. And nothing else. And I don't need no proof. I already showed you the proof. I'm a scientist. And I have a degree. If that ain't good enough for you, well, kiss my ass. You gotta believe me. There it is. There's my lab coat. All right, folks. You all have a good day now, you hear?